Shamano. जल्दी आओ, जल्दी आ जाओ। Shamano, Vishma। ये जो अलग लाइन है ना वो बीच में है, सामने वाला लाइन। आगे वाला लाइन है ना, आगे आ जाओ ना, गौतम नंदन। नमो बुद्धाय, नमो धम्माय, नमो संघाय। Good evening everyone and welcome to Sunday evening program. We'll have chanting, meditation and few words of Buddha, listening to few words of Buddha. So please join us this Sunday evening program. Araham Sama Buddha Bhagava Buddham Bhagavanta Abhivade Sukhacitto Bhagavata Dhamma Dhamma Sukhacitto Bhagavata Savaka Sangha Sangha Namo tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo tassa Bhagavato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Iti piso Bhagava Araham Samma Sambuddha Vijjacharana Sambanno Sugato Lokavido Anuttaro Sattha Deva Manusana Buddha Bhagavate Namo tassa Samma Sukhacitto Bhagavata Sanditthiko Akhaliko Yehi Pasiko Opanayiko Pacha Vinyohete Namo Tasaniyanikassa Dhammassa Supatipanno Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Ujjopatipanno Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Nyayapatipanno Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Same Savaka Sangho Yadidam Chatha Tripurisa Yugane Atta Purisa Puggala Esa Bhagavato Ahuneyo Pahuneyo Dakkhineyo Anjali Karaneyo Anantaram Punya Khetam Lokasathe Namo Tassa Atta Ariya Puggala Mahasanghasa Evam Buddham Sarantana Dhammam Sangham Cha Bhikkhavo Bhayam Vacham Vitatham Va Lomaham Sanahesate Ghanasarappadithena Dipena Tamadhamsina Tilakadipam Sambuddham Pujayami Tamanudam Gandham Sambharayottena Dhupena Pujaye Pujaniyantam Puja Bhajana Vanya Gandha Gunopeta Etam Kusuma Santatin Pujayami Munindasa Siripada Sarorohe Pujame Buddham Kusamena Nena Punyena Metena Chahoto Mokham Puppam Milayati Yatha Idhamme Kaya Tathaya Imaya Dhammanudhamma Patipatti Buddham Puje Imaya Dhammanudhamma Patipatti Dhamma Imaya Dhammanudhamma Patipatti Sangham Vandami Cheti Sabbam Sabbadhane Supatitthita Saririka Dhatu Mahabodhi Buddharupa Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Vipatti Pativahaya Sabbasam Sabba Dukkhan Vinasaya Sabba Bhayan Vinasaya Sabba Rogan Vinasaya Bhavedi Yugadayaka Sabba Lokan Hitathaya Parittantam Bhanamahe Samantha Chakravalesu Atra Gacchantu Devata Saddhammam Munirajasa Sunanto Saggamokkhadan
Dhamma savana kalo ayan bhadanta. Dhamma savana kalo ayan bhadanta. Dhamma savana kalo ayan bhadanta. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Kavaniya matta kusalena yantam sant pada abhisamecha. Sakko ujocha sojocha suachocha samudhanati mani. Santo sagocha subharocha appakecha jasalahukavote. Santendriyocha Kulesa ananugidho nachakodham samachare kinche yenave pare upavadeyo sukhena vakemino hantu sabbe satta bhavantu sukhitatta eke bana bhutapti tasavatha varava anavasesa Dikavaye Majjima Sakanukathola Dittavaye Vadikta Echadure Vasante Avidure Bhutavasam Bhaveseva Sabbe Sattva Bhavantu Sukhitatta Eke Chupana Bhutat Parava anavasesa Dikavaye Mahanta Majjimaya Sakanukathola Dittavaye Vadiktaye Chadu Vasanti Avidure Bhutavasam Bhaveseva Sabbe Satta Bhavan Na paro param nikom bhedanyate man takatha chiram kanche vyaro sana pachuga sanya nanyaman sadukhamecheya mata yatha niyam bhuktam ayusa ekabhuktam anurakhe evam sabba bhutesa manasam bhavaye aparimanam mettam cha sabbalokasmin manasam vaye aparimanam uddham adho chaturyan asambhadan aviram asapattam tittam charam nisinno va sayano va etam sathim aditteya brahma me viharam idamahu ditthim cha anupagamma sela dasanena sampanna kamesu vinaya gedam nahi gabbaseyam punarete dukkha pata chane dukkha bhaya hontu sabbe pipanino etena sacchavajjena sotite hotu sabbada etena sacchavajjena sabbadu vinasatu etena sacchavajjena sabbabhaya vinasatu etena sacchavajjena sabbaroga vinasatu etena sacchavajjena hotu te jayamangala etena sacchavajjena vatu me ratanataya Akasatthya ca bhummattha devan Dika punyam tham anumodit Chirang rakhantu sasanam Chirang rakhantu desanam Chirang rakhantu mangaram Ettavata ca amhehi sambat punya sambadam Anumodanto sabbe satta anumodanto sabba sampatti siddhya nibbana sampatti siddhya idam me jnatinam hot sukhita honta jnatayo idam me jnatinam hot sukhita honta jnatayo idam me jnatinam hot sukhita honta jnatayo sabbe buddha balapatta pache balam arahantanam satejin rakham bandame sabbasa sabbe dhamma balapatta Ariya Sachana Chayam Balam Dhamma Chakra Sadeje Rakham Bandame Sabbaso Sabbe Sangha Balapat Vimottanam Chayam Balam Sasana Sateje Rakham Bandame Sabbaso Kayena vacha chittena pamadena maya katam achayam kamame bhante bhori panya tathagatam Kayena vacha chittena pamadena maya katam achayam kamame dhammo sanditthiko akhaliko Kayena vacha achayam kamame sangha punya khetam anuttara imena punya kamena mame bala samagamo Satam samagamo to yavanibba napatiya idam me punya kamma asavakayam vahoto samadukha Nibbana sapachayo hoto sadhu sadhu sadhu
what shall we do now?
Some meditation, it's a 15 minute
15 minute meditation.
meditation, and then 15 minutes talk.
So we have some time now for some meditation, about 15 minutes. I was invited to guide you. Very warm welcome, excuse me for being late, I just had a program before. And my name is Sukhacitto. Thank you for the invitation, Buddhapala Bhantiji. So please find a sitting position which allows you to be alert, sitting comfortably, having an upright back. If you sit in a chair, try not to lean against the back of the chair. And you can close your eyes, but you don't have to close your eyes. That's totally up to you as you see fit. If this guidance you will hear is supporting your meditation practice, please use it. If it's not supportive, please ignore it or practice in a way which is conducive to you, which is helpful. One of the most powerful ways the Buddha was encouraging us to train our minds is paying attention to the breathing. This wonderful practice of anapanasati, mindfulness with breathing. The breath as a guide to support us into deeper understanding of the nature of the body and the mind, the feelings, and all other phenomena in our life, all other experiences. And it starts simply by being aware of our posture, the way we sit, establishing somehow mindfulness around this, bringing our mind to the present moment. And the easiest and most direct way of doing that is when we pay attention to the body. And of course, one experience which is happening in the body all the time, except a few exceptions, is the breathing, which accompanies us from the moment we are born till the moment we die. Our best friend, the life force which sustains life, prevails life. So we can simply be aware when there's an inhalation, when we breathe in, we know we are breathing in. When there is an exhalation, when we are breathing out, we simply know we are breathing out. moment we notice that the mind is engaged with some thinking about the past or the future, it's not a problem at all. We simply notice that, we interrupt that thought, and bring our attention, our awareness, our mindfulness back to the inhalation, back to the exhalation, back to this experience of breathing in, back to this experience of breathing out. This cultivation of mindfulness, of sati, requires to remember to come back, not get lost in the thoughts, not get lost in the content of the thoughts. Feel your experience of breathing in. Feel your experience of breathing out. In order to help that, to assist, you can even take a few long and deep inhalations, a few long and deep exhalations. Knowing you are breathing in long, knowing you are breathing out long. How does that feel, to breathe in and out long? And once you have a sense of being connected with your mindfulness, with the breathing, you can return to the normal breath. Breathing in normally, knowing, experiencing you are breathing in. Breathing out normally, knowing and experiencing you are breathing out. Every time you notice the mind is thinking, that's not a problem. Simply bring the mind back to the experiencing of breathing in and breathing out. By paying attention to the breathing, we get to know different kinds of breathing. Sometimes long, sometimes shorter, sometimes deep, sometimes shallow. Each breath has its function. There is no good or there is no bad breath. We try to understand from our experience the connection between the breathing and how we experience the body. By learning, studying, understanding the connection between the breathing and the body, we can calm the body. We can calm the breathing. Don't worry if you don't feel calm at all. It's perfectly all right. Simply feel the breathing. Breathing in, breathing out. The Buddha used this practice of mindfulness with breathing to attain full awakening. And it simply starts with paying attention to the breathing, but of course it doesn't end there. The breathing can be like the key to unlock the truth of life. The key to deeper understanding, to insight, to knowledge. about our feelings, about our mind, about all phenomena, all Dhammas, all experiences. It can lead to an understanding and deep insight of that all phenomena, all conditioned phenomena are impermanent, as each breath, each inhalation, each exhalation is impermanent. It arises and passes. We can't just breathe in. We can't just breathe out. It's this flow, this change. Breathing in and out, out and in. The breath is always with us, wherever we are. So there's no excuse. Oh, I forgot my breath at home, I can't meditate. Oh, the breath is short or the breath is long. It's always there. Providing us with a kind of refuge to pay attention to settle our mindfulness on. Breathing in, ana. Breathing out, pana. Connecting it in Pali means anapanasati. It's so helpful to pay attention to the breathing. In stressful situations, when we are tense, take a deep breath. Take your time to pay attention to a few inhalations and exhalations, to give you space of awareness, of mindfulness. And when you hear the sound of the bell, it's not the end of the meditation. It's the invitation to continue paying attention to your breathing, while you can listen to some more thoughts on Dhamma, a short or brief talk. There's no need to end this practice of mindfulness with the breathing. It's okay to go on a few minutes after 7 because I started late or not? Or should I end at 7? 15 minutes you can, 15 minutes you can speak. Yeah. So, I hope that so far your practice of meditation, which was also chanting, I hope that's a form of meditation for you. When you know the meaning of those powerful chants, when I came up to the hall, you were chanting the Karaniya Metta Sutta, this powerful teaching on metta, on kindness. And some of other powerful, inspiring gathas, verses of the Dhamma. Do they inspire you actually? Do they have meaning for you in your life? And please allow me to talk straight from my heart. I'm a Western Buddhist, so sometimes people say they are born Buddhists. Maybe they are born in a Buddhist family, but what makes us a Buddhist or non-Buddhist is our actions, We can recite, of course, many times, Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa or Buddhang saranang gacchami, but our mind can be elsewhere, or our life. No problem. And we can use wonderful meditation techniques like anapanasati not to develop wisdom. We can just use it as a tool, maybe to calm the mind a little bit, or we can use it, as a little refuge. In stressful situations, we pay attention to our breathing. But sometimes if we are not careful, we can limit our understanding of Dhamma or meditation just to paying attention to the breathing. And of course, it's much more than paying attention to the breathing. You can develop great skills in paying attention to the breathing and not develop much wisdom. I guarantee you, Not that I have developed deep states of concentration with that, but the Buddha was teaching a holistic way of practice, based, as you know, on sila, on living in a way not harming others or yourself, training the mind in wholesome qualities, meditative qualities, samadhi often, the overall term, often translated as concentration, but I don't like the word concentration very much because it has such a, to me, roughness in it. Maybe as a German I have some problem with the word concentration because we had these, Second World War and so the concentration camps. But sometimes we treat like training the mind as, you have to concentrate, you have to make that effort, you have to be very tough. And the Buddha, when he was talking about samadhi, it was always connected with sukha, happiness, and before that actually with piti, with rapture. This ecstatic joy, you can say, where, wow, sometimes it gives us goosebumps. So it's always connected with something pleasant. So we cannot force it, or if we force it, it's very tense and not very stable. The Buddha was, of course, teaching deep states of samadhi. I prefer to talk about collectedness of mind. When the mind is collected on one object, or when mindfulness is continuous, it allows the mind to rest more on one object or on one topic. So, of course, connected with these qualities of mindfulness and concentration is that we make a mental effort to cultivate the wholesome and to avoid the unwholesome. Often known as the 4 kinds of right effort, when we talk about the Noble Eightfold Path. And wisdom, panya, interestingly stands at the beginning of the Noble Eightfold Path, but also in a way it comes as a culmination of the Noble Eightfold Path, which is called the Tenfold Path. When we have successfully practiced the Noble Eightfold Path, there will be liberation, there will be the knowledge of the liberation and the looking back to the experience of liberation. Maybe we are not there yet, I'm not for sure, but there might be moments of this. But please don't underestimate the power of our everyday life, of this effort to be harmless to others and yourself. The Buddha mentioned the Panchasila, the 5 ways of living in a way not harming others or yourself. And the literal translation of these Pali words Panatipata, this Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami, you undertake the training because you are interested in this. It's not that because somebody says, the Buddha or a monk or a teacher or your parents, you should, No, out of your own understanding, I undertake the training to refrain from taking life or killing or harming. Oh, that's a training. It might still for sure happen that you kill ants or mosquitoes, maybe by accident, not like, I remember when I was as a layperson in Thailand in the monastery, and I was helping the monks, Western monks, and on the moon days the lay people came to the monasteries, offered food, and they took the 5 precepts, as they do every 4 times a month. Full moon, new moon, in between moons. So I remember this one day, a group of ladies, mostly women, come to the monastery to offer and practice support of the Sangha. So they were offering food, they took the precepts, Panatipata Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami, the monk first, and the person, they repeat, Panatipata Veramani Sikkhapadang. So while they were reciting, I undertake the training to refrain from killing a mosquito, Oh, ouch. Now, was this a lack of mindfulness? Was this such a strong habit? It's pretty absurd, to while I recite, I undertake the training to refrain from killing, I do killing. And maybe the impulse was so strong, whatever. So do we really give this meaning, this training? And not just as a ritual, We are not perfect. The intention counts. The second thing, like undertaking the training from refraining from what is not given freely, that's much more refined than stealing, what is not given freely. Wow, it's a powerful way of looking at life. Or the third precept, often it's interpreted I undertake the training to refrain from sexual misconduct. Now the literal translation means wrong use of the senses. Yeah? Kame sumichachara veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. That's a huge area, wrong uses of the senses. But traditionally it has developed more into sexual misconduct. What does that mean? In the Buddha's time, maybe something different than nowadays, definitely in the West. I don't know about India. In a town like Hyderabad, it might mean very different things when in a rural village, somewhere in Bihar, or I don't know. Basically referring not harming others or yourself with your sexual behavior. That's the main point. Then when it comes to wrong speech, or literally the translation is undertaking the training to abstain from lying, not telling the truth. But of course the Buddha in other parts of the teaching pointed to other skillful ways of avoiding things which harm, backbiting, gossiping, harsh speech, useless speech, to name some of them. But the literal translation is undertaking the precepts from to avoid abstaining from lying, telling the untruth. And the fifth area, and for me so far my few weeks in India have been very pleasant because I haven't seen a single drunk person. You must have drunk persons here for sure, but compared to Germany or to countries I've visited or lived in, and looking at my own life, I have done the worst things when I was drunk as a layperson, I tell you. Really. shameful when I was drunk because I lost my control. So in many places you don't get alcohol here. That's wonderful, But there are other ways of intoxication, of course. And the literal, meaning is taking the training to abstain from substances that cloud the mind or intoxicate the mind. Mainly, I think alcohol was used, but it could be also other substances, of course. When we want to develop, to train ourselves in clarity of mind, we try to develop a way of living which supports that, not undermining that with clouding, intoxicating the mind, of course. So that in itself is meditation. That in itself is training the mind to feel the impulse of doing maybe certain things out of habit, having the mindfulness, making the right effort and abstaining from that unskillful way of doing things, thinking, speaking or acting. So don't underestimate that. And of course we need to be patient. The more we establish ourselves in harmlessness, the easier the formal meditation will be, the easier it will be to calm the mind, to develop this collectedness or experience calm states of mind, concentration and so on. But again, it's not the purpose to develop concentration, collectedness of mind just to enjoy it. The Buddha encouraged to dwell in deep states of concentration, yes, but only for the purpose when we come out of these deep states of concentration to use it for insight, to see things as they are. They are changing, they are anicca. Ultimately they are not satisfying, that they bring lasting, reliable happiness. And they don't have a fixed core, and this is easy to say, but so difficult to understand on a deep level in terms of, because we believe we are something which is not change. We experience change all the time, but there is a strong belief in somebody, me, who is existing, and especially maybe in an environment like India, where this belief in soul from Hinduism is so strong, or reincarnation from one life to the next, one soul. Corelessness, there's nothing fixed. It's changing. It's not denying this idea of self. It's not denying, that life is not existing, but it doesn't have this fixed entity, fixed core, which is not changing. So this is, as you are probably aware, a short summary of the Noble Eightfold Path, of the way of practice, which is a holistic way of practice. Nothing is excluded in that. Neither our family life, nor the jobs, nor the hobbies, the interests we take, whether we are talking or are silent, whether we are active or lazy. All that can be used for definitely the practice of mindfulness and other wholesome states. So I'm aware of the time. I was asked to talk about 15 minutes, maybe that's it. So thank you for your attention, and I don't know if there's still time for, discussion or questions or comments. Okay. So if people want to ask some questions or give some comments, you are invited to do so, please. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ante. So if you have any question, please raise your hand and take the mic and put your question. Anybody have any question?
If you don't have any questions, you might leave me in the illusion that everything is so clear and was delivered in a way which is, clearly understandable, and maybe that's not the case.
When I'm at home, I can meditate, I can calm my mind, okay, by looking at Buddha or doing Vipassana Anapana. But when I'm at office, when there's a lot of work pressure, I get distracted, my mind is very restless. So is there any mantra or chanting to keep the mind calm? Because in office I cannot meditate, right?
That very belief, do you question that? At the office you cannot meditate? You can pause maybe for a minute, sit or stand and pay attention to your breathing, or remember Buddha, or not. So that very statement, question that. Is that true? Maybe the meditation is different, much shorter, but create spaces where you direct your mind towards bhavana, towards cultivating the mind. When you make such a statement and believe it and practice it, then all your work time in the office is not Dhamma time. So can you make that, even when you work, whatever, I hope you're not engaging in an unwholesome profession or something, can you make that practice of mindfulness? And this afternoon I was sharing this practice of M&M practice. In 1 minute an hour, stop, pause, pay attention to what's happening, meditate for 1 minute. Or if it's not 1 minute, half a minute. If it's not half a minute, 3 inhalations, exhalations. Look at your idea of meditation. Question that.
Thank you so much, Sadhu.
You're welcome. It's very interesting if we have ideas in certain places or contexts, like I was sharing earlier today. I was taken yesterday evening to Lumbini Park, to the beautiful small island of the Buddha. It was so crowded and busy there, and I felt, oh gosh, beautiful environment and this noise, and my eyes was a bit irritated with the pollution or something. So this is the way to practice then, in that environment. Lots of people, lots of noise, beautiful Buddha image, and noise around, and smelly boats and so on. Wonderful way of practice, Much easier up here with this beautiful view.
Any more question? अब लोगों को किसी को पंतों को पूछना है?
Or when you have the idea, only here you can practice, coming Sunday evenings to the program, enjoying the chanting, the meditation and the talk Bhanteji gives or others. That's meditation. Yes, maybe it is, but what about the rest of your life, except that 1 hour? Any other questions? Please feel invited. I like to question things. Myself, first of all, but also my understanding of Dhamma or meditation. And it's so limited, I really tell you, it's so limited. Yeah, the way we can train the mind. This magic number of 84,000 Dhammas, apparently the Buddha was teaching. Maybe it's not 84,000, but so many ways of training the mind. And it's very interesting if we have this belief, so thank you for this question, circumstances which make it difficult to practice. This is very interesting to look at those situations. Can you change your attitude to make use of those situations? Of course, if it's unwholesome, destructive, then we try to avoid such situations. But how can we bring Dhamma more into our lives? Dhamma, meditation, to remember the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, that these powerful chants make meaning, are filled with content in your life.
Okay, so yes.
Namaste Bhantiji. So I have a doubt that we do chanting a lot. So which is more powerful? What is the main difference between meditation and chanting?
Ideally, meditation, chanting is a way of meditation. Ideally. But I don't know, see for yourself, I don't do so much chanting, so I'm not the best person to ask this, But this is for me when you chant, like I found it so powerful with one of my teachers, as you read in the discourses often, at the end of a discourse when somebody have received a powerful teaching, that person takes until the end of its life, of her life or his life, refuge to the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha. So it's called, not just Buddhang Saranang Gacchami, Buddhang Te Jivitang Paryantang Saranang Gacchami, right? Until the end of this life I take refuge to the Buddha, Dhamma. So when I do this by myself, really I try to feel that, when I bow, and it can be done just superficially as a way of habit, or when I'm asked to do bowing a lot of times, or do I really make this in this moment a powerful practice, Do I chant Karaniya Metta Sutta like a parrot? Karaniya Metta Kusalena Yanta, and I think about, when do they serve me the next tea? Or do I really feel those words, really feel the content? Then it's a way of meditation, I would say, But of course there's much worse things to do than reciting and not feeling so much, but it's, but maybe I'm not, in terms of right person to ask or so, but for me a balance, many Western meditators, they don't chant at all, or very little. They do mainly quiet meditation. So to find a skillful balance, look for yourself what's helpful, Many people like chanting, it's a powerful way. There's Buddhist traditions, like I live in a Vietnamese temple in Germany, a Pure Land School. Their main practice is chanting the name of Amitabha Buddha, ideally, a lot of the time, It's not my practice, but it still can be very powerful, So there is not what is, look for yourself what works,
Thank you.
And again, these opinions we have, these people do too much chanting, these people don't do chanting at all. We are full of opinions about others, So that's not helpful either, I think.
As Bhante said, I think you have to see for yourself whether meditation works better or chanting works much better. I think you have to see for yourself. That's what I feel, as Bhante just now said. Because I also seen some very wise teachers. Some suggest chanting, some doesn't suggest chanting, but they are both wise teachers anyway. So I think it has power, but it depends whether it works you in particular, you as an individual, because every individual has their own inclination.
So I admire people who know a lot of chanting because I don't. I haven't learned much, to be honest, unfortunately. So it's a bit embarrassing, but yeah. Yes.
So we thank Bhante for the Dhamma offering today. Today, Bhante, whole day, there was a meditation day today, morning 9 to evening 5:30. Then again 6:30 to 7:30 now Bhante here. So there were many people here whole day meditating and listening Dhamma. Bhante has a meditation, 5 days meditation in Bangalore. You know the date, Bhante? Or
Is it 4th to 9th February, something like that?
Around that, first to
4th to 9th.
To 9th.
I think so. I'm not quite sure.
Venerable date. So Bhante has a retreat in Bangalore. We have a meditation center in Bangalore. So you can consider joining that. It's a beautiful place outside Bangalore. I mean, not outside, the outskirts of Bangalore. A calm place. There are good accommodation and everything. So 5 days Bhante will be conducting retreat there. So you can think of joining.
But I have to warn you, that's a special kind of retreat, a special kind of vipassana practice, which is called insight dialogue, which includes speaking and listening as part of the meditation. Something people have never heard of before. So it's not the traditional thing which you might, expect when you go to a meditation retreat. It's called insight dialogue. You find it in the internet also. It's developed by an American teacher. I found it a very powerful way of practice.
It's 4th February till 8th, 4th to 9th February. So you can consider joining that. It will be helpful. Okay, so we come to the end of today's program. We thank again Bhante for sharing Dhamma with all of us, and we thank all of you also for coming and joining and creating this positive spiritual energy here. So we, of course, if you wish to discuss something more personally, I think Bhante, can they come? If some of you wish to discuss personally also. After this you can come and discuss. So in this we conclude and we share all this spiritual energy with all the beings for their happiness. Sukhi bhavayami dukkha aham nichamiya
Translate again?
Oh, okay. So some chanting in English. So may all the beings dwelling in this locality, in this city, in this state, in this country, in this continent, and this whole earth and the whole universe be happy, healthy and peaceful. May all of them be free from harm and danger, sickness and worries. And may they all be safe and secure. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Can you turn off the fan?
Okay, so we conclude here. We see you next Sunday. So this is every Sunday program, 6 to 7:15. We have chanting, guided meditation and some talk. So you are all welcome to come every Sunday. Whenever you find time, you are free. Please do come. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your attention.
Chalo, Shabbat.